Welcome to Waters of Memory. My name is Eric. I help you cut through the fog, discover your true desires, heal, and live your purpose. You can schedule a coaching session with me or purchase my services at my website in the link tree down in the description. If you like what I do here on YouTube, you can support me for as little as $5 a month over on Patreon. And I offer a range of attunements, rites, healings, cleansings, and empowerments at the higher tiers. So right off the bat, I'm sure that anybody who's been with me since the beginning is going to think I'm a hypocrite because this channel started with a 30-day challenge. Now, that 30-day challenge served two purposes. The first was to make sure that there was a lot of meat on the bone for somebody who just happened upon me or this channel or my writings or social media presence. So this was a way for people to pick my brain and get a feel for me and my vibe to determine whether or not they wanted to communicate with me one-on-one, support my projects, or purchase my services. And that remains the primary purpose of this channel. The second thing that I wanted to accomplish with that challenge was to get practice talking in front of a camera. I would say that I'm a pretty good communicator and conversationalist, but talking to myself in front of a camera is a completely different skill set. And as someone who is allergic to all the performative BS that is all over YouTube and social media, that's something that I've had to get over because there's no way that you can talk in front of a camera on a regular basis and not have it be a little bit performative. I think it's more accurate to say that what I have a problem with is the stuff that's over the top, that's insincere, that does not come from an actual artistic vision, and is primarily done to manipulate the audience. So I think I have tended a little bit too much on the drier side, and I can let some more of my personality come out and be just that smidge performative without it going into the territory that I find so distasteful. So on that basis, I think that 30-day challenge was a success. And I think that challenge would have been a success even if I did nothing else with this channel from that point forward. Because if nothing else, it was practice and it was a prototype that I could build off of later. The reason I normally don't do 30-day challenges is because I find them to be a poor foundation to build long-term habits and changes off of. And you can even see that to some extent with how this channel has continued since November. See, I did that 30-day challenge in November during the holidays. And during that period of time, quality didn't matter. Even the concepts that I talked about didn't matter so much. All that mattered is that come hell or high water, I found time to make a video and upload it. Now, if that meant that I got up a couple hours early, I would get up a couple hours early. If it meant I went to bed a couple hours late, I'd go to bed a couple hours late. As long as something got posted, the challenge would succeed. Going past that, I didn't have a plan. So not having a plan, well, we went into Christmas, then we went into January, where I got sick early in the month. And around that time, I started rearranging other parts of my life. And I started working on other projects that I want to build up. So with all these balls that I'm juggling up in the air, some things had to give. I think that with everything going on, knowing everything that's gone on behind the scenes, I'm proud of myself for continuing to upload even semi-regularly on this channel with the free content. But between the paid content that I'm doing, the novels that I'm building, the changes that I've made to my sleep schedule, because one thing I will say about that 30-day challenge, being on camera every day, I realized, man, I look like shit, and don't tell me I didn't. Because I had a much higher opinion of my appearance before I got on camera every day for a month straight. And you know, it's easy to lose track of certain things when you don't have to look at yourself in your phone or in your camera on the computer screen every day. Because the way I thought, it's like, yeah, I don't have the most consistent sleep schedule. Like I was on a third shift sleep schedule for much of the time. I would be doing rituals for people late at night because I've always been, or at least always was, a night owl. So if that's what I prefer doing, let's just do a lot of the work then, because a lot of it's not bound by time. A lot of it doesn't matter if the person is awake when I'm doing it, so I'll just take care of it then. But seeing those dark circles under my eyes, I realized, yeah, I probably should take that stuff seriously about circadian rhythms and, waking up either with the sun or close to when the sun comes up. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that Leonian vanity that came out of me after that. But it is a case of the approach that worked for me in terms of producing and publishing videos in November absolutely was not going to work for me during a period of time where I am dead set on getting my sleep schedule fixed on a completely different schedule than I have followed through any other point in my life, where I have had complete control over when I slept and when I woke up. So, in terms of making a 30-day challenge work, if you're going to do that, because, okay, what I typically do is I look to make changes in my life, and I think long term right from the start. I don't bother with 30-day time frames. I don't bother with 90-day time frames. I go in with the mindset of this has to change. I'm going to make it change. I will adjust what I need to adjust in order to make that change stick as I go. For something that warrants a 30-day challenge, say you don't know that you want to do something. Let's say you want to try learning to draw. That makes sense as a 30-day challenge because you need to get in daily practice, first and foremost, to build up any kind of competency with it, but secondly, to see if you even enjoy doing it. And if you do, then after 30 days, your enjoyment is going to serve as fuel for continuing with it. I don't run into many things like that where I have uncertainty about something before I commit to it. And if I commit to something and I realize partway through, you know, I don't think that I actually want to go in this direction, well, I pivot at that point. It's a mindset issue. So for me to sit down and say, well, I'm going to commit to at least 30 days of it, it doesn't make sense for me. Where a 30-day challenge might make sense for you is if you have difficulty even getting started with anything, whether it's a long-term change or a short-term thing, whether it's just trying something out. If you can talk yourself into committing to at least 30 days of a particular routine, that absolutely can be the start of a new habit. That absolutely can be the start of something that goes on for longer. Because one thing I have trained myself to do over time is to not focus on the end point when I'm in the middle of something. I know that I'm going to be committing to something for a very long period, but I'm not hyper focused on the end point. I'm hyper focused on what I'm doing moment to moment, and I let myself get lost in that, as opposed to constantly watching for what's over the horizon. If that's difficult for you, setting a 30 to 90-day time span where that's what you're laser focused on, that can help immensely. The main thing, go into it with structures in mind. So don't do like I did with the 30-day challenge for starting this channel, where I did not construct systems within a consistent schedule that already existed in my life to time out the production and release of videos. And also bear in mind, with a challenge like that, I wasn't worried about quality. I was just worried about getting things out. I'm more concerned about quality now because there's already that backlog of videos, and I don't want to repeat myself. And I want to make sure that when I sit in front of the camera and I practice and I speak and reason through my thoughts, that I'm not repeating myself, that I am giving quality insight and information, and that you, the viewer, are able to take something away from it that is helpful to you in whatever you're working toward or trying to reason your way through. So the approach I took to that, if we're putting this into a framework where that is supposed to lead to long-term structures that are consistent through time, well, more than likely, first of all, it would have had to have been a schedule where I wasn't aiming to put out a video every single day, but maybe I was scripting every day. I was doing something related to video production that tied into my day-to-day schedule, set for a specific time, and I would do it in specific ways so that I would build habits instead of just checking an item off my to-do list. That's the That's the pitfall of 30-day challenges. It's too easy to just stumble your way through them and just to say that you did it without actually forming a habit. And I also like to joke that, they say that it takes about 30 days to begin forming a new habit. Well, I think that I've formed a habit of quitting anything after 30 days. Because, 30-day challenges, they're not a new concept. I've done plenty of 30-day challenges over the years, and I've probably quit more 30-day challenges or failed to continue things after 30-day challenges than most people have ever done. So if you want it to carry forward, yeah, you can set that time frame. It can be helpful to have that time frame. It can be helpful to say, I'm not strapping myself into this for life. I'm just going to give it a month and see how it goes. But I'm going to give that, during that month, I'm going to go about it in a way where if I decide to continue, I've got the framework in place where it already slots into my life in a way that makes sense indefinitely. That'll do it for this video. Thank you for joining me. If you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it with some friends. I'll see you guys on the next one.